morning, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. It's coast to coast. Got everybody here today. How's it going?
It is fantastic. I just love how, like yesterday, I don't know if you guys want to buy a house, interest rates are finally starting to come down. We're now at 6.1. If it comes down one more point, then I can refinance the house and save about $1,000 off the mortgage. So if you want to buy a home, give it about another year. I say about another 12 months. The interest rate is probably going to be down around a little bit.
I'm good with my 3.7% interest rate right now.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll never get a refi on mine because mine's at 3.1.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. You're already in that zone, which that's a good zone to be in. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So,
but at the same time, it means you're never going to like refi if you wanted to pull money out or something. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's going to cost me so much.
Definitely not. Yeah, you might be able to do a home equity loan or something like
like
that if you needed money. I'm assuming you could probably do if that's what you want.
Something like that, you could for sure.
If I could just get to the fours, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah. I think.
But I think we're about 12 months away from that. But it's trending that way. So it's always a good day. Hey, anytime interest rates come down, it's
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the first house I bought, I paid. I think I had 6.8 was my percentage, and I bought it down to that. So it wasn't.
No, I know how you feel, man. I think my first home I bought out in Washington D.C. back in '93. I think my interest rate was around 3.5. It was loving life, and then but then when I built this house, obviously interest rates were like at 7.625, and I brought it down to 7.125. So if I could just get to 5.
You definitely save some money at that point
easily. But anyway, I'm sorry to make it an economic thing, but it's always good when you see the economy at least looking somewhat better.
Yeah, anytime that happens, it's a win. Now, if they could just get our grocery prices to come down, so it's not like $10 for me to eat an apple.
Step by step, boss. Step by step.
Last time I checked, food was more important than having your interest rate on a house go down. So maybe they should work on that first.
Well, so they're all kind of combined because that's how economics work.
I know, but I'd rather have a higher interest rate in my house than pay X amount of dollars more for groceries. I know they're all tied together, but if I could choose, I would choose.
Well, yeah, because you're going to do that forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually a few times a day.
I don't think you realize, though, if you're saving 2 points on your interest, that's like thousands of dollars back in your pocket. Those thousands of dollars actually will buy you your food. So I think you don't understand the way the economy works, Stat Guy. I know you know stats on sports.
Works. So how much used to
he knows how to Google stats on sports.
I know how economy works. I went from spending $400 a month on groceries to like $310 a week now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it's super dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It was one of the things that I liked the least about coming back from Mexico was coming back and like, why is food so expensive?
Yeah, well, when you're in Mexico and that dollar goes a long way, and street tacos don't really cost all that much. Yeah, you're doing. Yeah, I can see your point. Yeah,
that's a 10% increase.
Yeah.
I like saving quarters now. I don't. Now I gotta go get change for the laundromat.
Hey, I would take a $5 drink here in Seattle. That would be a win.
You know what? I hear that all the time. They're like, your living room is so much better than most of the bars in the city. I'm like, I know.
Just a normal beer is generally like $7-8 now, and you're just like, I came back from buying dollar beers. I'm like, what is this nonsense?
Hey, I think I was in Miami, and I sat on this. Me and the wife went into this bar, and I sat on the couch. Hey, I sat on the couch and that lady goes, so it's $2,000 to sit here. And I said, well, let me get my happy ass up because I ain't got $2,000 to sit here and a Jack and Coke. Beer and a Jack and Coke, and it cost me $21. And I'm like, damn.
You know what's funny about that is it sounded like you were gonna say you got a beer and a Mickey's. Is what it sounded like you were going. I was like, what kind of like?
Oh man, no, but $21 for 2 drinks. I mean, that's a lot. That's a damn lot. You know?
Corey, are you looking at these comments?
I am.
I don't
It's funny
see any
because it
glitchiness.
looks
Yeah,
fine
I was
on
gonna
our
say I don't see any glitchiness at all on either one of us.
That is interesting. Okay, let me pop up a YouTube screen. And see,
It ain't me.
I mean, it's none of us on the
we
screen.
look fine. Like we're not glitching at all.
No. So let me.
It's real bad.
Apparently.
Go to my Facebook where Joe sees me fine.
It just went away. Yeah, I don't know. That's very weird. So
Hey, by the way, the Vikings lost last week, right?
Yeah.
We did have one person gets
who took
Somebody
the
else.
Vikings?
Joe.
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 See, that's why his wasn't glitching. He had to see himself get booted from the suicide.
You know, to take a moment of silence to remember Joe and his suicide picks, all one of them.
2. He made 2.
He made 2? Okay.
The first one he made. The second one he failed.
It's Thursday. We need to get our suicide picks in, I would imagine, today.
Well, it would be good to start today. However, it's you have tomorrow too.
I mean, unless you're taking the Bills.
No,
Actually, I thought Thursday games don't count in that mix.
Oh, do
I
they
gotta
not?
get mine in today.
Yeah, I thought you do not ever get a Thursday pick.
No, I mean it would
ability
actually
to
be
even
good
choose
because
it.
Thursday games suck.
You're right.
And this one is also
Like this would just be kind of one of those throw in suicide picks where it's like, well, there's 5 games that I have to decide on Sunday. I'm gonna pick the Bills because that's pretty much an automatic.
Yeah.
It's Miami team is awful, but I'm gonna take my Seahawks over this Saints. So I feel like since the defense will all be back except for Witherspoon, that defense should kind of have their way with the Saints.
So you're taking the She Chickens?
Yep. Get them out of the way on a team that you feel like they should be able to destroy.
All right, so we got sea turkeys.
I'm taking the Buccaneers over the Jets.
Ooh.
Besides, it's the game that I feel the best about
Right.
the entire season.
And so Rob is still in it. Scott is still in it. Paul is still in it.
I might regret this one, but I'm gonna go Chiefs over the Giants.
We will allow Joe and Brad to pick, but they both have -1. You guys owe twice the money.
I'm gonna go Chiefs over Giants this week.
All right.
And Rob's going with the Seahawks as well.
Yeah.
And you're going with the Chiefs?
I'm going Chiefs over the Giants. I think the Chiefs' defense will be good enough to keep them in the game, even if their offense is still playing like crap.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hey, Pags,
Washington
you got me for Bucks, Pags.
I got you for the Bucks. I actually got you as a loss. I think that the Bucks get upset this week.
Okay.
I mean, again, I am not always right, but
Joe, Jaden Daniels isn't playing in that game. Just a heads up.
and how about this? How about this? Talk about history being made. There is going to be a little bit of history made this week for your Vikings. Carson Wentz
Yep.
is going to be the first quarterback to play and at least start one game
Six
for
teams for 6
six
years.
teams in 6 years.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
pretty amazing, actually.
It is.
I mean, to think about that it started with the Eagles, then it went to Washington, then it went to the Colts, and then it went to
The Rams. The Rams. And then last year he started week 18 with the Chiefs last year.
Right. And now the Vikings.
And they were
And who's
talking.
he going to start for next year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, I think he's going to end up in Minnesota long term after this year.
You know what? I think Minnesota is actually the right spot for him.
Because he knows the Kevin O'Connell system. He grew up basically rooting for Minnesota because he's a Midwest kid. And I could just see him kind of doing what Andy Dalton's done in Carolina the last couple of years, where you're just happy where you are and you just keep signing 1 or 2 year backup deals just to stay there.
I hope that he's remaining the starter by my birthday, because the Eagles are coming there, and I would love to see the Eagles against him again. So Joe chose Washington. I mean, he can go to -2. That's okay.
Yeah, well, he said he didn't know, so
he's
gonna check the schedule.
Now we're going to still allow you to pick. We're going to rank how many times you are wrong.
He said he might change his Washington pick.
That's a question that I have for you, Pegs, too. What happens if you pick in a suicide pick and it ends up in a tie? Does that just cancel out then because it's not technically a loss?
No, it actually is a loss because you didn't win.
Okay.
So yes, that has come up in a couple of occasions. And,
Hey, I want to be sure I heard you correctly, though, Pags. So you thinking the Jets are going to upset the Bucks?
It's Tyrod Taylor under center for the Jets.
It's a battered Baker Mayfield though too.
Yeah, but
that was kind of what I was getting at. That it's, Baker is going to be really beat up. The Jets like to play in Florida. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not taking it in my suicide pick.
Right.
But I understand why you are taking it. You know what I mean? Like it's like the Jets. The Jets are going to go 0-3. Why not? I think the Bucs shouldn't be 2-0. So I feel like that they got a little bit lucky against Houston last week, and I think that they could be a little unlucky this week.
So you think
especially
they're that
since
team?
They're going to be getting ready. I feel like that this is a little bit also a very early season trap game because they got the Eagles the following week.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised Jaden picked this. I'm surprised Jaden picked his Cowboys to beat the Bears this week.
Man, that feels like a coin flip of a game.
No, because the Bears don't have anybody in the secondary because Jalen Johnson's out for the year. Kyler Gordon's not going to be playing this week, and they're not going to have anybody to cover CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that the back end is right.
Like, their secondary right now is horrific, and Jalen Johnson's out for the year, who would be on CeeDee Lamb, and Kyler Gordon, their number 2, is out yet with a concussion. He'd be on George Pickens, so they're down to their 4th and 5th cornerback right now.
How are the Jaguars favored?
It's in Jacksonville.
Does it even matter?
Yeah, against Houston though. Like it's like I understand Houston is 0-2 and the Jags.
I have Houston winning that.
I would too. I hate choosing division games. As I'm looking at it's like I think I have to go Pack, which goes a little bit against my system for suicide picks, but I just don't trust any other team. Like I maybe Seattle would be the other one. Again, the Saints are not as bad as they make themselves out to be, I think. They play tough. They've been playing tough.
Spencer Rattler actually did look pretty good against San Francisco last weekend.
Yeah, they play tough. The big thing is because Seattle has almost all of their defense back this week, that's going to be the biggest thing. Is when everybody is healthy, they look good. Because even in limited snaps, that defense was mostly back against the Steelers, and that looked very different than towards the end of the game against San Fran, when you had a bunch of those guys leaving the game. So, I think the Seattle defense will give Rattler just about everything they can handle, and the Saints defense isn't good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think JSN could go off for $160, $170.
I mean, and the rookie Horton's gonna do some because he's fast and he finds open space. So, I don't know. I feel like this is one where the Saints don't look as good as they did in the first two games, even though they were in losses. They were close games. They were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
There has been some talk that Miami's coach is going to get fired very soon.
They said week 5. They said tonight they're not. Tonight, people were saying if they got blown out, would you fire him tonight? And a lot of people said no because it's a short week. You're going into Buffalo, and Buffalo is a much better team than what you are anyways. So this is kind of your throwaway game. Yeah. The game in 2 weeks when they play the Jets will be, I think, his last game. Or if they don't beat the Jets in 2 weeks, he's gone.
I don't know. For some reason, I always feel like that ownership is really interested in trying to grab the first pick, and that it would almost behoove him to keep him there. That being said, there is talk in Philly, because Philly is not super excited about the play calling of our offensive coordinator.
Okay.
And that they would love to have the head coach of Miami. I can't remember. I want to say McCarthy.
McDaniel.
It's not
Mike
McDaniel.
McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels, that's it, not McCarthy, to be the offensive coordinator. And I'm not a fan of that. I don't like, let's switch up coordinators in the middle of the season. We remember how that worked out well for us a couple years ago. Not a fan of that. Number two, again, this is preseason football. I know these games count, but it's preseason football. We are 2-0.
Well, that's the biggest thing. If you were 0-2, I could even be like, okay, like you got to figure it out. But you're 2-0. It hasn't looked, it hasn't been perfect, but you're 2-0. So that's one of those like, hey, let's see what we have. If you're 0-2, all of a sudden you're like, okay. I mean, you go 0-3, and you're on the borderline of your season's already over. Because I mean, there's only 17 weeks, so they add up quick. Outside of a crazy run that, like the Bengals had a couple years ago where they started out at 0-4 and then went on a run. That's the outlier, right? So you go 0-3, it's pretty tough. You go 0-4, and I mean, 99% of the time it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So, right. But on the other end, you're 2-0. If you're winning and you haven't played your best ball, that's encouraging. You're like, oh, we still have a lot of room to get better, and we're still winning. So, I don't know that I'd be freaking out and blowing stuff up and moving coordinators and stuff like that when you're still winning games, albeit ugly.
A win's a win. That's all that matters.
To think about this in a realistic sense, there is less than 1/3 of the NFL that is 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, three of them are in your division there, Bo.
Yeah.
So which is kind of funny to me. So I can't understand the thought process on this. Truth of the matter is that the Rams are going to be a tough out.
Yes,
this Sunday, very tough out.
They played you tougher than any team played you in the playoffs last year.
I agree, and I will say that we have had the Rams number. Of the last, I want to say that I think that we've won the last 6 games against them. I could be wrong on that, but it might be. I know that including the playoffs,
Mhm.
that they have not had a win against us in quite some time.
Yeah, that's where the law averages comes in, right? Because we had that with Detroit, where we had beat them for like 8 or 9 straight years, and they finally edged one out last year. And every time it's been a shootout, and it's come down to basically a field goal. And last year they finally got on the right side of it. So I mean, there is always that. It's like, well, when you've done it enough times, eventually they're gonna snag one.
Mhm.
And I'm a big fan. Like I says, I like the time of this game, that it's a 1:00 game.
Okay.
The Eagles versus the Rams, because now that's a 9:00 game or a 10:00 game for them.
Right.
Kind of like that a little bit. I feel like that edges our way some. Right now, the link is a hostile environment. It's so I like that as well. Um, I mean, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the game of the week. I think it's going to be a very similar game to what it was like last week. With the Chiefs, and I hope it doesn't come down to the last possession, because I think that goes against us. I feel like that we needed to be up 2 scores against the Chiefs, so that, like, I like it when somebody has to onside kick.
Yeah.
If you have to onside kick, you're losing. That's how
Mhm.
I'm looking at that from here on out.
Yeah. Well, especially now that you can't even do anything creative with the onside kick. You have to be
You
like,
know what?
"Oh, we're doing it."
Well, you know what? You know what kind of gets me too is that they're not allowing you to longer kick it either. Like, you have
Yeah.
to kick it within a zone.
Well, they want the returns. I mean,
Yeah.
But no, 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 no. I don't. I mean, for the onside kick,
oh yeah,
you
the
can't
fact that
kick
you
it
need the
over
zone
the
is tough.
coverage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You now have to kick it into the coverage, which I'm not a big fan of either.
Oh, I neither.
yeah. That one should just be the 10-yard rule, right? It has to pass the 10 yards, and then it should be open season the rest of the way, right? Because
Right.
then they had to have one guy back to honor the fact, right? So you at least got one of the guys out of the way, because then, if you did blast it and you sent a gunner right through the middle or something, you had the opportunity for it. So I don't like that they got rid of really any kind of wrinkle you could ever put into the onside kick game. I mean, you already made it so you can't do it anytime. Now you have a landing zone it has to be in. You can't make them drop one of their players out, so they got all 11 guys there.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
I also am like, I really wish that they would consider the 4th and 15.
I think that, yeah, like what the UFL does, where you just get rid of the onside kick and you got a 4th and 15 for the first down, and you convert it. You get it where you convert it at.
I think it eventually gets there,
Yeah.
honestly, because they basically made the onside kick you almost can't make it successfully.
No.
Right?
There was
Like
3% last year. 3%
Yeah.
makes, which is probably about right, anyways. But since you can't fake it now,
Yeah.
like, now it's like you can't start your season off with an onside kick. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's actually, when that onside kick in 2000 against the Cowboys
Mhm.
changed the franchise up, for the Eagles, I think. Like, it started the absolute change of the franchise, and the fact that we are unable to do that now, you can't get that point, I feel like that they took away a part of the game.
Oh, they definitely did. Yeah. No, they definitely did. Yeah. So 10-2 since 2002. That's impressive. That's a good run.
Mhm.
That is a good run.
And I want to say that we've won the last 6. Because going back to 2017,
Last 10-1. So
yeah, so
awesome.
yeah, so there's definitely 6 or 7 in that mix. So
For sure.
Brad, we are still allowing you to choose a team, even though you have one loss on you as well. You and
Yeah,
Joe are tied for one loss.
Way to catch L's in the comment section and on the show.
Brad is just trash. Brad's garbage. He's just a Brad turd.
Oh man. See, now you're going to get him to say dumb stuff in the comment section. It's a good thing that's on YouTube.
Oh man, if Brad can never find Chris and bring Chris back, that'd be great.
He would just tell us about everybody that's died today.
That's true. Well, I need to bring up my obituaries. So
right? Like, I never got his fascination with that. Like, you know who died or like, whose career ended today? It's just like, man, like it's kind of early to be this.
Hey, Chris, come in the comments. Hey, can we do a top five all-time deaths?
Right? Like, how many times would he have talked about Charlie Kirk in this?
Okay, now let's not talk about Charlie Kirk.
It would have been every day.
Brad, you went with the Eagles last week, so you can't do them again.
Oh man.
He's like, I'm just picking the Eagles every week.
Normally, I would say that's a winning formula, but I could change your pick to the Texans. Yes.
Okay.
Oh man, that's fucking hilarious.
You get one change. That's it.
That's right. This pen has no eraser. I don't want a page full of scribbles.
And I am actively reaching out to Dean Blandino.
Okay. Sweet.
He has been very vocal about the tush push.
Yes.
So I am doing what I can to get him on our show. I think that especially because we have such a eclectic group of people, on this in terms of, hey, we got, from all corners of the U.S. That he might be game for this. I mean, the last time I had him on was in 2001 on my NFC East show, where the first thing he said when he came on was that Dez Bryant's was not a catch.
Okay.
So.
I bet that fired some people up.
Well, it fired up True Blue. So, but that being said, it's like I said, he's a good guy, and he does do like these types of podcasts and everything. And I haven't spoken to him in a little while, so it's like I'm hoping that we're able to reconnect and I can get him on the show. I'd really be interested to hear what he's got to say about this and be able to combat him at this, because I feel like that this play is going to start to be the first play that gets officiated from above.
Mm-hmm.
That would make a lot of sense, because you got to make sure people are lined up and they're not leaving early. So, I mean, that would make all the sense in the world if that one were to be able to generate flags from the cameras.
That's some of the blowback I've been hearing about the tush pushes. A lot of people feel like that it's a neutral zone infraction, and I don't know. I haven't seen it enough to really. It
is. So the rest of your line has to be behind the back tip of the ball. The ball is the neutral zone, right? And when you watch the way they line up, a lot of times their helmets are in line with the ball.
Right.
So that is technically a neutral zone infraction, right? It's one of the things that people, they don't really get when you're watching it on TV, because they always put the black line, that's the line of scrimmage, at the tip of the ball, which is right. But the entire ball is the neutral
zone.
And so, of course, that's not a real black line. It's not a line that's going across. So that even has sway.
It's not played to it. But the ball itself, everybody has to be behind the back tip of the ball, including the center. So sometimes you'll see on the tush push, the center is actually kind of up on the ball rather than out behind it like he's supposed to be.
But why aren't they calling it, though? Why are they allowing it to happen and not call it neutral zone?
So it's becoming too difficult to officiate, and they are giving a little bit of levity to the defense on this now. They're starting to let the defense start to encroach. Do they still put the white lines on college footballs? I don't notice. I don't know.
No, they do they?
Yep.
So the reason why they did that, because that was supposed to be the line of the neutral zone.
Yeah.
That it was supposed to be a defined area, that anybody who crossed that white line became in the neutral zone.
Yep.
Now, they're never going to put the white lines on footballs. They're never going to do that. But they are, like I said, I think that this is going to start to be the first play that gets officiated from above. They have the cameras to do it. They have the ability to do it. They are able to kind of see and able to use the cameras, because those, if you've noticed, I don't know when recent time you've been to the game, there are now 2 cameras above.
Yep.
It used to be just 1. Now it's 2. One that actually travels the play, one that travels the ball.
Yep.
And it's that camera, the one that travels the ball, that's going to start officiating this play, I think. And
that would make sense to do it from above.
Especially now, since they've stopped doing the chain gang, and they've started to do the we're going to analyze exactly where that ball is at. This is going to be, I swear, I think it's going to be the first officiated play this way. And
it would make sense, because there has been a lot of early movement. There's been a lot of early movement, and so it would be good to do that, right? Because as much as people complain about it, if you just officiate the rules that are already there, it changes the way the play is, right? Because if you have guys that now have to be out of the neutral zone and can't leave early, it's tough to see everybody when they're that close together officiating from the side. So it'd be very easy to miss a false start in there. So, if you start to get that from the camera angles, that play becomes less effective.
And every time that we see the false start, they're doing that in super slow motion.
Of course.
It's milliseconds, like 0.02 milliseconds of difference in time. That's not the naked eye, sees in like 0.06 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Like that's the fastest that we can register in our brain. So like this is stuff that is happening like beyond the scope of real officiating that can actually occur.
Right.
And I can appreciate that. I understand. Like this is becoming a very difficult play, especially now since everybody's trying to stop it. And
everybody's starting to do it. So I mean, now it's not just like
actually not. I still haven't seen a lot of people doing it.
We've done it a couple of times already.
Have you been successful each time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they trot Milrow out to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why more teams aren't doing this. Like, those just complaining about it, but join it.
Well,
I mean,
because
some teams don't have the quarterback. Yeah, I was gonna say, because some teams don't have the quarterback to do it. Like Jaden Daniels can't do a tush push because he's not strong enough or big enough to get that kind of a push.
Yeah, could we get Stafford to do it a couple of times? That way the division's a little easier.
Well, and same thing with Kyler Murray. You can't have Kyler Murray do it. I mean, he'd be broken in half.
But, I mean, at the same time, if you were the Saints, you could absolutely have Taysom Hill come in and do it. So it's not like you have to do it to a quarterback. You could direct snap it to a fullback if you wanted to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, because that now you have to practice that.
Sure, but you got to practice it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you. And I can't wait because it's coming very, very soon, where I feel like that the Eagles are going to have the one guy just over there on the sidelines. You don't really notice. He's just going to be over there, like as they're trying to get to it, and nobody's going to see him there, and they're going to do the fake and just throw it to him, and he's going to have nobody covering.
Oh, yeah, one of the college trick plays where they're like barely at the number, so they're technically in a legal spot, but everybody thought he ran off. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That works like once during the season, but yeah.
Well, it works like once. It would, again, everybody's so concerned about the thing. And the truth of the matter is that to make that play work in the NFL, you need to have a whole bunch of other players kind of standing around there. And, I know that they have there's that barrier on the outside, but you'd be able to almost make something like that happen.
You could, if you did a big personnel exchange and your leaked out guy was on your sideline, obviously.
Right.
Because otherwise the other sideline's going to be like, this dude.
Right. Well, but no, because it's a matter also of like there were a couple of times where the Eagles broke the huddle, ran to the line, set, go.
Yeah.
And that's when this is going to have to work like that. Like that's how that would.
And that's what I was saying is you'd have to do a personnel exchange. So there's a lot of people coming on and going off, and then they'd have to come right up, set and go, because that's how you would lose that guy. And so, that's exactly where I was going with it. But it obviously it has to be on your sideline.
Yeah.
That's what you'd use in the
other
playoff.
problem with that, the other problem with that is that you have the 7 seconds.
Yeah.
On the personnel exchange.
Yeah.
So it's like you got the personnel and you have the one guy who's just lackadaisical kind of running off, where they'd almost have to kind of set and look back and be like, almost like count and then like go in motion further out. Like you could fake it and be like, all right, there's 11 people. I'm running off the field,
Well, because then you look like a motion guy.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what you in essence are going in motion.
Yeah, no, 100% you are. Yeah.
But you have to be set for a second. And it's kind of funny because you're set and you're like just counting guys. Like, okay. And then you're like, I'm running off the field. Bam. Make that turn.
I feel like even if you ran it successfully, somehow they would just instinctively throw a flag on that the first time, unless you got with them before the game and were like, look, we are going to do this trick play.
Right.
Because otherwise it's going to be like false start. I think it should be.
No, it would be a legal procedure.
Do like
that's really what they would do. It would be the illegal procedure call.
Do like what the college game was like 2 years ago, false start on everyone but the center.
Yeah, you get a couple of those every year. Where he calls for the ball, everybody moves, the center doesn't snap the ball. It's just like, well, the center was the only one that stayed with the ball. So
thanks, George.
Oh man, I see a play like that probably working best in the playoffs in a desperate situation, and you might want to do something like that. Like you said, I think because people would catch on to that.
Well,
no, I disagree with that. And the reason why is because you want to be able to scare people with this early so that they have to think about this.
Yeah, I mean, you're just peeling off a corner who isn't really that involved in stopping that play anyway. So, I mean, it would work once, and it would work for a score, right? Because there'd be nobody even remotely close to this guy. But
because
thereafter, you'd have a corner that would just leak out, that's basically a spy to see if somebody goes out, right? People would circle that crap on their. Did you see this? Yeah, this is not happening to us. We don't want to be on Sports Center for the next 3 weeks.
Right.
But that's why I feel like that would be a play that you'd use like in the playoffs. It'd be a play like if you needed it, you'd have it.
Well, maybe. I mean, it's again, we're talking about this as if we are offensive coordinators. So, and I got to imagine that at some point there is somebody who's already considering this, like that they haven't done many fake, not obviously this year. I mean, they only really ran this 7 times. They didn't really use it against Dallas. There was not many 3rd and 1s and 2nd and 1s that happened in the Dallas game.
Yeah.
So, I think there was actually 1 touchdown that was a tush push in the Dallas game, and that was it. So they've ran it 7 times against the Chiefs. They've run it 8 times all year. You could argue that it has been, although they didn't get the desired results in one of the plays against the Chiefs, it still gained a yard It was just that they were trying to gain a yard and a half,
Mhm.
and they didn't do it against the Chiefs. If by chance the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, I would be hesitant to run this play. I feel like the Chiefs now have seen this a lot, and they were getting closer and closer to stopping it.
Yeah.
So, and I feel that obviously the lining up sideways
Yeah, that was
didn't
weird.
work.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that one in the
You
Super
have no
Bowl.
leverage. Like I don't. Like
Yeah, he didn't.
I don't know how in your mind you thought that was going to work. Like you have zero
So,
leverage.
so actually, the thought process actually wasn't so bad in this. It was to dislodge the center from the line.
Sideways. I got you.
Yeah, so by
'cause I
pushing
mean-
him that way, you are allowing the people that are here to get direct at the quarterback.
You know, and that might have even worked if you didn't have the guard immediately hit you in the side.
Well, and that's
Like,
yeah,
you know,
kind of.
because they're
But I mean, again,
no,
it was
you're
a
shoulder to
little bit
shoulder.
outside the box thinking.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I
like-
mean, I get you're just trying to do whatever to try and stop the play, but I
Yeah.
mean, being sideways, you got three dudes that are, you just made yourself a huge target because now you're sideways.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to get blown off the play, and obviously you did, but like I get it if you were trying to like lunge across, you just don't have a clear path at him because all these guys are shoulder to shoulder.
And take this away now a little bit. Let's go backwards and say, okay, we're not going to do a push. We're going to go into the big package.
Sure.
I still think that we would make that, make these plays every time.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, you
It's like,
guys
I
just
think-
have a great offensive line.
But that's really what it comes down to. It's that having the offensive line to be able to do this play makes it better. Hey, if this was Canadian football, we wouldn't even be having the conversation.
True.
Because if it's third down and less than a yard, the defense has got to be 1 yard away from the ball.
Yeah.
So you automatically have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's how Canadian football works. They have them a yard away from the ball.
There's some goofy rules in the CFL.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can get a point for missing a field goal.
Oh,
If you were close,
You get a point for a touchback. You get a point for a touchback.
Yeah,
man.
there's some weird stuff. There's some weird stuff in that game.
that definitely sounds weird to me.
It's 3 downs instead of 4 downs.
Oh, really?
55-yard field, 55, so it's 110 yards,
Yep.
and actually 150 yards because it's 20-yard touchdowns.
Then you
The
have
reason
the-
why
you
you
have
would
the
get
old-
the point for missing the field goal is if it goes past the end line.
Yep.
Yep.
Then you have the
Oh,
arena
so-
football. You have the arena football rule. You can have the wide receiver running before the ball is snapped.
Yeah, no, like there's a lot of goofy rules. Plus, their season is longer.
24-week season. Each team plays 18 games, 19 games because they have so many bye weeks mixed in there.
Yeah, I think they actually play
20 games. They play 20 games. 20 games. It's a 24-week season. They play 20 games.
Yeah, and then their playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like there's a lot of differences.
Yeah.
But they also, not for nothing, they do play in the summer. It is a lot hotter,
Mhm.
even in Canada. It's a different scenario, so they do give them weeks off and such
Mhm.
to be able to do all the things that they need to do and just be able to recover and stuff. It's
for sure.
So it's like it's actually not a bad thing. It's just that it's got to be. It's more along the lines of soccer when it comes to scheduling, in
Yeah.
comparison to, hey, this is a season. Fall is football, and we're going to end by President's Day.
Wow, that's weirdly aggressive there, Frankie.
Yeah.
I mean, Canadian football actually is entertaining to watch just because it's more. It's like obviously a lot more pass happy league because of the 2 downs being 3 downs, but it's a lot faster paced than the NFL sometimes too because these teams want to get on the ball and run the next play. They don't want to sit in a huddle as long. They don't want to take as much time. Like they're getting up to the line so much quicker and just doing what they want to do.
Yeah, but the field's a little wider.
Yeah.
It's obviously a little longer, and so it's more done with. I think it's like a soccer regulation in terms of the inside portion of the field, and then adding 20 yards for both end zones.
Yeah, so NFL field's like 53 yards wide. Soccer's like 72, I think, or 70. I think a Canadian field is 72 wide. So it might even be a slightly wider than the soccer field too.
Yeah, no, the field is massive. The rules are different. The similarity is there is a football.
I mean, there's quite a few like NFL players now that have gone to the Canadian Football League too. So like the talent level is actually getting better now than what it was. Like obviously they have talent in that league because you've seen some of the talent coming out of that league before. But they do have like a lot more talent in that league now because of all the NFL players that are going over there.
Frankie just out here throwing shots.
Well, they're starting to get paid more.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to. Yeah. Like when I was doing a show with Jim Jeffcoat, obviously Jay knows who that is. He's one of a few Dallas Cowboys to have over 100 sacks. Yeah. That his son was playing for Winnipeg, who were champions a couple of years, and then still go to the championship but lose. I learned a lot about Canadian football in comparison.
It's entertaining. Unfortunately, it's hard to find here in the U.S. because it's not televised very well. Basically until the playoffs.
How was their protections on the quarterback? For example, obviously in the U.S., you can't. They have a lot of restrictions on is it the same type of restrictions?
Yeah, you can't hit him in the head at any point. You're only allowed one step after they release the ball. It's the same. That's one of like outside of like holding, false start, and like your normal penalty rules that the NFL has, like roughing the passer is pretty much the same in the NFL as it is in the CFL. Like they still protect the quarterback a lot. One rule that they don't do in the CFL that the NFL does, you do have a lot more free game to lay the wood on the receiver.
Yeah, you can
like
still.
They don't have like the defense. They still have like targeting and things like that, but they don't have like the defenseless player rule that the NFL has. Like you can still level a receiver in the CFL yet.
Yeah, you can't lead with your helmet there either. But yeah, you can go blow somebody up. Like if their quarterback is giving them a hospital ball, you can oblige them.
like you can't do that in the NFL anymore, but you can't do that in the NFL.
They're jumping as high as they can like this. You can go light them up, and that's okay.
I saw red.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean the Jets are the Jets. Did you really think they were doing anything? I mean, come on. At no point in my life did I think Justin Fields was the answer for the Jets.
Yes, I love that Frankie's just throwing haymakers to Jay.
Like he's just.
You could always tell when Frankie is in the comments. I tell you what, though, Frankie, not for nothing. The Yankees are making it very interesting on the possibility of not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They are brought everybody closer. So, I mean, I would love to see a playoffs with no New York teams. I think they're both going to sneak in, but I don't think it's going to last very long. I think they're both going to get knocked out in the first round.
Chad, they probably got better with Carson Wentz under center.
Well, that's the thing that they were talking about in Minnesota's radio this morning. It's like McCarthy's going to be out most likely 3 games because you have this week and then you go to Europe the next 2 games, which they said that McCarthy's not even going to travel to Europe. They're just going to leave him here because his fiance just gave birth to their first child anyways. So they're just going to let him stay here, rehab and whatever when the team goes out to Europe. And then they have the bye week after that. So he's missing 3 games. He's essentially going to be out a month. Well, let's just say a Carson Wentz goes 3-0. Do you even bother putting McCarthy in at that point yet, or do you ride the hot hand? And a lot of people in Minnesota said if Carson Wentz goes 3-0, you stick with him until he starts to cool off, because he's already shown that when he has an opportunity to start, he can win games. So if you're 3-0 with him going in the stretch right now, you don't sit him just because McCarthy's healthy. You ride the hot hand until he starts to fizzle out a little bit.
But I also think you don't embarrass McCarthy either. You just be like, yeah, just take your time. You know, like
I think they've already kind of told him that, like, hey, I know you want to get back, but just, take your time. When you're ready to get back, you'll get your reps and we'll go from there. But I think McCarthy understands too that Wentz isn't like your prototypical backup quarterback. He's a quarterback that got Philadelphia to the Super Bowl for the most part. I mean, Foles won it, but like Wentz put him in the position to get him that first Super Bowl. Sure. Like, he's had plenty of success. He's been successful every time he's had a chance to start for the most part. I think McCarthy knows he's 22 yet. He's still young. So if Wentz comes in here and starts 7-8 games, it is what it is for McCarthy at this point. I think McCarthy just wants to win.
Well, and they also don't have the issue of they're paying him a bunch of money, right? He's a rookie contract, so you have a little bit easier time justifying that move.
Right. And the other thing that I think of with this is that more than anything else is that the support system in Minnesota is much stronger for Carson Wentz than it's been in any other location. People from North Dakota naturally like Minnesota.
Yep.
Like, that's where they went to school. Like, it's like they became Eagles fans because he wound up in Philadelphia, not in spite of it. You know what I mean? So it's like they were Minnesota fans before and then became Eagles fans because of Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
This is more of the natural rotation of things for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that because of that, you're going to see it a little bit easier. Plus, we are now 7 years removed from that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz's biggest problem while he was with Philly, and then when he went to Washington, and then even when he went to Indianapolis, because he still had the same people like that were attached to him there, was that every pass he threw, he was trying to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't do that when, like, everybody had just won on the Eagles, and he fought to get back into week 3. You know, you had Nick Foles do the first 2 weeks, and then he comes back in week 3 because he wants to lead the team again. But now the team was so ready for Nick and so prepared with Nick, that it was like he was there again trying to win the Super Bowl in the 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th, 12th week of the season. He wound up breaking his back. You know what I mean? And that's ouch.
But he always got hurt in crucial situations, like in Philly. Like, he built up some momentum and then he get hurt. He just never could stay healthy either.
Clowney, that game against Seattle, the 17-9 playoff game, where Clowney, it was such a deliberately bad late hit that hit directly into his helmet. Like, it was one of those things where that the refs didn't call it, but I watched his knee buckle after that hit, and it was like, that's a concussion. That's a problem. Right. And then, with a guy who was 42 years old coaching high school football, we almost beat you guys. Like I said, it was a 17-9 game that we're driving, and I think there was an interception at the very end that stopped us, stopped our drive with like 20 yards to go or 10 yards to go from the end zone. So, I mean, and still we would have ignited and scored a touchdown and the 2-point conversion to be able to tie it. So we may have lost 17-15. Who knows? That being said, it was such a bad hit there that I'm not going to tearing your ACL. He actually did the next play to score the touchdown with the torn ACL. And then was, taken off the field. Breaking your back. When you got a broken back, and he was out there and he played that whole game.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
And interestingly enough, I think they were both against the Rams.
Wow.
So it's that the Rams kind of knocked him out twice.
And incidentally, their quarterback is also also has a spine made of duct tape and zip ties. So,
yeah.
Chad, I disagree with you there. I think the Steelers get it done. The Patriots don't score a lot. So, I think you guys will be all right.
I really was surprised that Seattle put the hurting on the Steelers like they did.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a much closer game. And the
Yeah.
fact that it wasn't was like, wow, what's going on there?
The biggest thing there was the 5 guys that were questionable and doubtful outside of Witherspoon on the defense, that's where I was just like, oh, yeah, I mean, like Seattle's about to get worked, all played.
And the other thing, too, was the Pittsburgh Steelers kick returner didn't know the rules between the NFL and college.
Yeah, that didn't hurt either. It was crazy that he let that go.
Well, in college, that's a dead ball. That's why he's like, oh, I'm just going to, let it sit in the end zone. The NFL, that's definitely not a dead ball.
No. I mean, you have to indicate that you're letting it go.
Right.
And but in that case, it landed in the zone. So I mean, that's a live ball no matter what. So
so we let it go, and Seattle recovered.
So it bounced at like the 2, I think, or the 1, and it bounced into the end zone. But in college, as soon as the ball hits the end zone, it's dead. Whether it lands at the 1 or whatever, as soon as it hits the end zone, it's dead. So once it got to the end zone, the Steeler guy starts like walking off the field towards the sideline. You get like 4 Seahawks sprinting to the end zone.
Yep. Yeah. So they recover it right there at the back of the end zone because it didn't continue to roll. Had it rolled all the way through, it just came out to the 20. Yeah. But it stopped about 2 yards from the edge. They jumped on it, and even if he didn't touch it, Rob, it's still a live ball, and it's basically viewed as if it was an onside kick because it landed in the zone. So they get it, they get the touchdown there, and but I mean that game was really in Seattle's hands anyway.
Yeah,
that one just put it kind of out of reach. But yeah, I mean it was wild. They said that was the first time that's happened in like 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that the one where the Steelers came out and said, yeah, this guy's not going to be our kickoff returner anymore?
Probably.
No, I mean, yeah.
I think they took him out of that role or something and put somebody else in there.
No, I mean, moving forward, he's gonna do it again. The guy's a rookie, right? Like you're gonna make some mistakes along the way. That one was costly, but yeah, I mean,
very.
They'll coach him up. They may have taken him out for the rest of the game. I don't remember that.
And so that really that changes it from 24-17 to 31-17.
Correct.
I mean, so that's a little different. You know what I mean? I thought like it's like 31-17 is like an ass kicking, and it's like I didn't understand why. But I also haven't watched the game, so
yeah, no. So that's why I said that play put it out of reach. But I mean, it was Seattle's game kind of anyway. But yeah, and again, Rob, if he touched it, it didn't matter. He could have not touched it. It's a live ball because it landed in the zone. So that's one of the rules. So.
So and there you have it. But and that being said,
that does get us there. I wasn't actually looking at the clock there. So yeah, if you're watching on whatever platform you're watching on, like, subscribe, helps us bring our stuff to you. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow, except for Jay, because he takes Fridays off. So take it easy, everybody.